Okay, thanks, Joao. Thanks, Ana. I am Carlos. I am the co-founder. Well, first, I've worked 7 years ago as a remote worker. I am local. I am born and grew up in San Cristóbal de la Laguna in Tenerife. It's the third biggest city here in Canary Island, and heritage by UNESCO, and so beautiful. And right now, in the last years, since 2020, I am the co-founder of Pueblos Remotos. And I say, Pueblos Remotos is a project to bond, try to answer the questions about how we can make or try to put in action the best mix between remote workers and rural entrepreneurs. No? Elsa, the other co-founder of the project, and me participated in a lot of events and webinars during the pandemic for COVID-19. And the people asked, the people from different towns in Spanish mainland and here in Canary Island asked us, how we can use the remote work, try to attract people to the rural areas, the empty space. I prefer the term of rural challenge. I like more that empty space. And for this reason, Elsa and me started to thinking about how we can put in action this mix. And for this reason, we started in 2021 with a concept, with a pilot, try to attract a small group of remote workers to rural areas. Elsa is advisor in sustainability and tourist sustainability, and she met some guys in Icot de los Vinos in the north of Tenerife, and we started to create a concept of experiences. And with these experiences, we generate and attract a small group of 10 remote workers there, and we identify 6 rural entrepreneurs. And why is important this? That we need to, or in our opinion, of Pueblos Remotos, first we need to understand what is the local challenge, what is the local role of the local actors there, and with this information start to develop this experience. First we need to analyze, to understand why is the important impact for these communities, and after we put in action the attraction of remote workers or digital nomads there. And more or less, this is the concept. We started in 2021. Right now, we are generated 3 experiences here in Canary Island, in the north of Tenerife, in Icot de los Vinos, once, in Antigua, in the rural area of Fuerteventura, and in Fuencaliente, in the south of La Palma. And this is the main concept. Okay? We generate experiences for 3 weeks and attract small groups of remote workers and connect it throughout activities and local challenges with the rural entrepreneurs.
Thank you for the introduction. Anna, do you want to shout a bit about your experience also in terms of it? We shared it before already. If you want to add something, otherwise I can introduce one of the panels. So, in terms of me, I've been involved in a movement called Traveling Nomads. Traveling Nomads is it's a group of people like nomads that want to raise, to inspire to be other nomads to try to have this kind of positive impact. And we have a local chapter here in Canary Islands. And together we try to find out ways of bridging this gap and having this so-called positive impact. The way we thought about it is that if we have so many people here coming to the island with so much expertise, with so much knowledge, we thought, how could we find a way to connect and do a little bit of skill sharing, of knowledge sharing, and bring this knowledge to the local community. The same is happening now on the next stage. What we did, we curated a jobs fair focused on remote work, all done in Spanish, all done in the local language. And we brought remote workers, foreigners, and local remote workers to this kind of inspiration. Maybe.
So the first event, the first version we did was without companies, with just remote workers and local residents that were curious. Some of them were just wanted to find a new job. They're already working, they want to find a new job. Others were just curious because we keep telling them, no, you can definitely have a remote work. And they say, no, it's only for foreigners. It's so difficult for me. So trying to find ways for people, local people, to understand that it's possible for everyone to get this kind of remote work. So we did this jobs fair. It was a success. We did it in Las Palmas. Now we're planning to do more. We actually thought about doing one during this fest. It was not possible for logistics reasons, but we'll do it later in the year, maybe in other towns, maybe here in Agaete. So we try to diversify the locations that we do, so we try to get more impact. Again, the idea here is to use us that are here in the room, that have our knowledge, while we stay here for some months. Well, why not just give a little bit of our knowledge to the local community? And that's also, of course, the Pueblos Remoto tries to do in a very structured way, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that. So, yeah, so this is the current initiative that Thriving Nomads is doing, but again, we are happy to hear, to open to other ideas of how we could help this. There's other examples in the world. There's remote skills academies popping up, like in Bali, for example, where they actually have a school for local, so it's a structured school with remote work skills taught to the local community, because it's not that hard anyway. But okay, let's share a little bit more of positive impact. And I think, do you want to share with us also some examples of this has been impact, and our people have, like you said, some people are curious how to be remote workers. How did that happen, or if they have examples of people that done that in other locations, and that was an advance for them.
Yeah, so another reason that I think we also need to talk about the positive impact, because right now there is a lot of bad press, right? So if they only talk about the negative one and we don't show that there is other side, that we can actually contribute, then it may arrive to the point that in some destinations, nomad will not be welcome anymore. Yes, you can still travel, but the locals will be against you. And that's not a nice place to be, right?
Yes.
So it's not anymore about me willing to give back, it's strategical. And there is this mask all the time, loving me. Absolutely. So yeah, and I think because when I started organizing events in Cape Verde, so there was nothing before, and you could easily say, people were telling, yeah, because Nomad, they just travel to all these beautiful places, they want to have fun, they like good weather, but they don't really care about anything else. But in my experience, when I organized that very first event, so they had 7 days of notice, so then 90% of nomads that were there joined, because they wanted to be part of that. They just didn't know how. And it's important to understand that if they don't do anything, it's perhaps because of barriers, not because they are not interested. I do think people want to contribute. They want to be part. They want to meet locals, right? They travel to that country. They are interested in that country. But I also believe that there is a need, right, to, I would say, to help them. And yes, there are some initiatives. They already started. Some NGOs in different countries. Here, I think of an Isla Remota, right, in Las Palmas. You can look for that, so they connect with local people. Because especially the language can be a barrier. If you travel to countries where they don't speak to, then how we do connect, right? And I see that many locals are also interested in that. Here, actually, in Canary Islands, we do see a challenge. It's a bigger challenge than in Cape Verde, even if nobody would expect that, because people sort of think they have their own life, and they don't need that. And that bridge that I talked before, it has to have 2 sides, right? So Nomads has to join, which I'm pretty sure they have the interest, but locals also have to join. Otherwise, we can't do much. So there is a lot of work about, I think, education. What it's for and what it can give you, what it can bring you, why you should join. And we're really, really at the beginning with that. This is a special place, and many of you are aware, but you just go on the street and ask to any local, and the perception they have of digital nomads and remote work is like it's something not for them, they cannot join. So for me, really a lot of work is about like talking, sharing, building awareness, because only when you understand what we are talking about, what we can do together, only then we can bridge that gap.
Yeah. Okay, I totally agree, and in this line, I am totally agree, for example, with the language, no? When we talk about the language with the local communities, so try to generate positive impact. For example, I remember it, no? When we started with Nomad City around 2016, we insist to the local population, with the local entrepreneurs, please improve your English skills. If you want to apply for a remote work, maybe one of the best option is improve your English skills. But probably you have more probabilities to get a job if your English is enough. Not maybe the best English in the world. I don't have the best English in the world, but I try it, I talk in, I write it better than I talk. But you need to improve this. But for example, when I talk about the local impact, we need to check the other side. Now, for example, when I lived in Portugal in 2017, I met some digital nomads, lived there 1 year, and don't say never, bon dia, obrigado, is all time talking in English. And it's necessary, you understand, of course, 10 words, 20 words in Portuguese, and try it. Okay, it's not easy maybe, but try it. Language is one of the barriers to try to integrate in the local impact. Now, for example, when we started with Pueblos remotos, we have a challenge, no? I say, for us, as our clients or our community, for us it's more attractive, try to attract English people, not? Or North Europe, or people to speak English, or for Hungarian people, but maybe sometimes they have more, no? What do you say this? Disposición or apagar? Yeah, ability to pay maybe more money than Spanish people or people speak Spanish, okay? But we consider that for us it's very important the human connection. And if we want to generate human connection, we need that the people to come, it's not necessarily Spanish people, but we need that the people to come speak Spanish or understand Spanish. Understand and talk in Spanish, no? For this reason, when we start, we put in action and put in our rules, if necessary, you understand and speak Spanish to connect with the rural entrepreneurs. Why? But because this is not only around our activities or the activities we co-create with rural entrepreneurs. It's about the connection between the remote workers and the local or rural entrepreneurs. If you don't have the opportunity to take a coffee or take a beer or go to the house of rural entrepreneurs and dinner there or eat there and talking as a persons, don't generate this connection. And for us it's important, but the connection is not only with a place. The connection is with the people of this place. If you connect people, probably you have more possibilities that the people repeat in this destination, and people say other people go there, but the people there are fantastic. And you have other way, and is the people come here don't only say Agaete or Las Palmas as a tourist destination. Start to see Agaete as a local. No, you know the corners of the locals' nose. Go to the places to the locals go. The authentic, not the Instagram places. Okay, the authentic places of local people go. And of course, we can generate more local and positive impacts. It's only common sense and open minds. No, when you arrive in a place, normally you need to learn more about the cultural rules, the cultural things. If you don't know, only ask to the people or ask in the communities. For example, Gonzalo before commented that it's not travel around the world or visit places, it's visit different communities. Not if you generate a community, maybe you can ask this community, okay, who is this place? What are the rules of this place? can I help this place, or can I put in action this place? No, teaching the young people in tech, or help people in farms. I don't know. We have a lot of ways in this part to generate positive impacts in the local places.
Sure. Can you also share, Carlos, from the editions that you guys done, some results or consequences of positive results from Remote? I think that would be interesting also to share how, or also how you do it practically, how you do the matchmaking. So a bit more into detail. I think it would be interesting to know.
Okay. We have some criteria to select our destinations. Normally, we try to select towns with 10,000 or less population. We need to find venues there where the remote workers can live together. Maybe it's not necessary only one place, maybe it's 3 places, but stay close, stay together, but generate team building and the people meet each other. And Elsa is very insist with this and try to put in action car sharing or the possibility the people walking. No, try to generate the 15 walking towns. No, you have the supermarket in 15 minutes or less, or the bars or the different or the beaches or the different things in 15 minutes. And as a result, we try to measure two types of impacts. No, the direct economic impact. We are very happy with this, but the more or less between the 68 to 72% of our budget is reinvest in the local community, and we generate circular economy. You know? We have, for example, 2 types of activities. Is the activities with the main actors we selected and start to co-create, and the second level actors is people, for example, have hike companies or DBing companies or supermarkets, local supermarkets, and we try to measure this directly economic impact. And in the second thing is we try to identify challenge, and we check which of these challenges are resolved, and how many new challenges are identified for the remote workers, for example. And when we finish our experiences, we have a meeting like this and expose the results. The results that the challenge we cooperate with the local actors, and the challenge we try to help for the local territory, and measure a lot of things. The human things, how you feeling during the experience, how you feeling about connection, how you feeling about local community, how you feeling with yourself. And we ask this to remote workers and to local entrepreneurs. No? Try to understand how the human connection works. No? The different things, for example, Elsa is more expert than me in this way, but try to measure the sustainable impact. No? How kilometers we use the cars, or what quantity of energy we spend during the activity, or we recycle during the activity or not, or more or less, or this kind of things. Okay, and this is the impact.
Talk about social impact and also sustainability. That's really cool. So, there's a question from the audience. Okay.
Yeah, normally we exposed. In this line, we try to share this data with the locals, the city hall, or the local governments, or the regional governments. And I forgot to say this, but normally we collaborate with regional government, like not really Turismo de Gran Canaria, but with the Cabildos, is the government on the islands, and the city halls. But it's very important that these public institutions start to understand that we have other ways. It's not a substitutive way. It's alternative way, and try to generate other type of tourists and other type of impact in the local areas. For this reason, we recollect all these data and expose to directly send an info to the city hall, to the local government, and in our website you can find, in pueblosremotos.com, you can find the impact of each experiences we did. In all our experiences, we have data in Icod de los Vinos, in Antigua, in Fuerteventura, and in Fuencaliente. And here in Agaete, and here in Agaete too, but in Agaete is a little different, but here is not our main experiences. It's a collaboration with a European project. The name is The Break. It's try to attract women entrepreneurs, a group of small groups of women entrepreneurs from Europe, and is command for Escuela de Organización Industrial and Impact Hub Madrid. We are facilitators here in Agaete. But in this line, we generate the data and share too.
All right. Thank you for the questions. And also, like, I was going to share a couple more examples of things that have been done even here in the island. And Anna spoke about Isla Remota. Isla Remota is an initiative by Angel and Talas Palermo. And what they do, they do an event like this. They put NGOs on stage. There's remote workers on the audience. And the NGOs will share what they do, to share the needs they have. Sometimes they need support in doing some marketing or website. And then the audience will hopefully volunteer and help to support those NGOs. So that's another way of connecting the digital nomad community and the local needs. And then another project that is also here in the house, Jonathan here is in the back. He has amazing co-living also in Las Palmas, and also things that they do, and he uses in a way, in a positive way, the co-livers in the house, and goes to local schools to speak with kids and students and try to inspire them again to have eventually to have this option as job. So. And again, two initiatives done here in the island that are examples of practical ways of helping the local communities. And in terms of the places we have been, and you also talk with governments and destinations, how do you see them open to look at these two instead of just looking at the economic impact of having remote workers and digital nomads? How has been that kind of conversation?
Thank you. Well, so for now, like, to be honest, the biggest motivation is like the economical impact. Like they want to see the money that nomads bring. I don't see for now like the understanding that this has a bigger impact and what happens once those people arrive there. But some people, I think, slowly they start realizing, because it's also when we talk, you know, like even sharing on events like that, or especially with governments that already try to attract people and they failed, then it's when they start to question, like, okay, so maybe we need to do something more. Maybe there is a strategy. Maybe we need to put like proper budget in place. Maybe we need to work together with nomads, right? So as of now, that this awareness is low. It's motivated mostly by economical reasons, but as they realize, like they also see, they also read like all this negative press. Nobody wants to be the next Bali or the next Lisbon. So some people start to wake up and like question. And I do think we will get there. I just don't know how long it will take, maybe a few years. And definitely it's easier to have the budget when they actually see it like, okay, so this gonna bring money, right? And if you present that only as a social impact project, then it's harder to actually get the budget for that project. So we still need to use that argument. Okay, so it's 30 million if that amount of nomad comes to a place, right? And by the way, I wanted to add, because I realized that with time, that actually in these emerging destinations, like very new, where nobody goes, the possibilities for you to have an impact are like much bigger than in developed destinations. It's like with a little bit that you do, you are already having an impact. That was, for instance, the case like of Cape Verde, or I was also in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And, you know, when we actually published on social media that we are doing like some pilot projects, then those posts, both of them, they went like semi-viral on LinkedIn. And lots of people that don't even know me, like lots of locals people, they posted like, I'm proud of my country, like, welcome to my country. If you need anything, just let me know. And they like send me a lot of messages because they were proud, like that nomads are coming to their country. They wanted to meet us. They wanted to talk us. I was in a project in Bosnia and Herzegovina. They are an emerging destination. And once we were there, so a part of the program, like everybody wanted to meet nomads, like, you know, the biggest IT companies in the country, like television, all the journals, like radio, everybody wants to talk to nomads and meet and see what it's about. So I don't see that as if I go to Spain or Germany, like, you know, nobody really cares. Like the biggest IT company in Spain gonna come and ask me like how we can introduce remote practices. I don't think so. That's hard. Like we have to go to them and convince them. So that shows that when you go out of the beaten path, then you are already in a good position because people are more open. They see an opportunity in that.
That's good that you share. Of course, it's also important. Impact, economic impact is also important, right? We're talking about, yeah, and Gonzalo, do you want to ask a question? All right. Yeah, I was going to talk about you too, so in a way, and then you can ask your question, right? So, because even what in Ponta do Sol, and Gonzalo shared before, there's the entity that hired was the economic ministry of the government, was not tourism. So, and that's important to have use this positive impact that these nomads can have. Of course, we're talking here about social too, but economic is one of the bases of our society. So, Gonzalo, your question.
Yeah, it's true. For example, here in Spain, that when the people talk about rural areas or rural towns, we have an idyllic idea, fields, green fields, cows, and people hug you when you arrive in the towns, and you have some realities. You have people open to to meet new people, or you have examples as a film Asbestas. If you want to say, this is maybe the most dangerous example of rural areas here in Spain. It's very, very curious. The film is very shocked me, but you have this part of the rural that the people totally root with you. And we don't have for Herians in our towns, or we don't have for Herians tourists or digital nomads or for Herian people. In this path is with, first, try to explain education. For example, when we arrived in Fuencaliente, the rural entrepreneurs, maybe some understand a little about remote work or digital nomads or these kind of things, but normally the people don't know anything about this. And our responsibility as a local project is explain. These guys work remote, maybe some of these travel around the world, or these guys wants to arrive here, try to help you with your business, but you need to stay open. to receive these people. But for example, one of our problem is when these guys arrive, the remote workers arrive in the local town, the rural entrepreneurs are very busy with their business and normally say the same sorry that I don't have time, I try, but and we try to combine that men, women, get this opportunity. These guys stay here only 3 weeks and you have an amazing opportunity to open your mind, hear these people, try to get some ideas, some things. These people during 3 weeks, not all time, obviously, but at a couple of hours per week, try to help you. And this is very important. And I think that is one of the challenges. We have a lot of challenges, but try to educate the local or the rural entrepreneurs is one of these ways. Sorry.
All right, one more.
Yeah. You can repeat, please. We try to put in action a lot of things, but for us, the best way is try to generate situations where you are comfortable, like activities. We try to put the focus on the welcome, for example, and try to everybody there meets each other and try to put this in action, try to generate the activities during the first week. But if you met the local entrepreneurs and remote workers during the first week, you have more possibilities that collaborate more and start the conversations before and start to work together and try to follow, with distance, but try to follow how the connections works. Try. How about with these rural entrepreneurs? Do you like the project? What is your opinion about the challenge? What is your opinion about the town? You are comfortable here, and in the same line with the local actors. You are good with the remote workers. How is the match with your project? You are good with this. They share some ideas with you or work with you in your local project, or the people don't collaborate a lot. We try to help in this transition with distance, of course, but try to the things happens. Normally we analyze very well, check the territorial, and try to generate the special moments that the magic happens, and try to only follow. If the magics happen, we did well our work, and if the magic don't happen, but we need to check and improve. This is the way.
I think probably with time, with more initiatives, then it will be easier to do that more precise matchmaking. I think that's probably the objective, but not. All right. Thank you, and thank everyone for listening. And if you want to learn more about what we've been doing, if you want to join or help us or in a way, just contact us during the day while we are here. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you guys also for being here.